Welcome to News Now Alberta. This is Special Ed. I just started this page and the views are incredible on it. Way more than I had expected. Please hit that like button when you come in. It really helps with the algorithm or something like that. Today we go back to BC and back to another violent wellness check. I still believe that RCMP should not be doing those. We have mental health counselors for that, and they could be followed by one officer or something, but this is getting ridiculous. The officer caused more danger for the person than the person causes themselves. Check on these people yourself or call a friend to check on them. An officer could kill them over something that they could have talked through. This video is out of Nanaimo, BC.
Video from a front porch shows Mounties on another so-called wellness check take a woman with her head covered into custody. And these photos here tell even more of the story. Her beaten and bloody face, just the latest example of a mental health call involving the RCMP that turned violent. Good evening, police. BC's police watchdog is now looking into that violent arrest as new questions are being raised about how the RCMP is handling calls that involve mental health issues. As CTV's John Woodward reports, the woman in this case just happens to be a first responder herself.
That's Shanna Blanchar screaming for help. This video taken by her own doorbell camera.
And I started screaming for help. Somebody help me. Somebody look at this.
Blanchard, who is a former firefighter, was depressed and locked herself in the bathroom. Her son called 911, expecting an ambulance. They got the RCMP. Officers told her she was being apprehended under the Mental Health Act.
I stood up very quickly and I said, "No, you're not." And as soon as I stood, the officer on my left struck me so hard that he crushed my nose, concave my nose.
Blanchard lost consciousness. X-rays show how hard that blow was.
And then I saw my tooth and I said, "Oh my God, you broke my tooth." But then I saw the blood and I started just screaming.
The Mental Health Act allows police to apprehend you if you are a danger to yourself and others or have a mental illness. Police acted as if that's what Blanchard had. But the hospital, she says, discharged her almost immediately.
Police then put her in a spit hood, which she says could have drowned her in her own blood. The case now under investigation.
They are entitled to use force. However, the force that they use has to be reasonable in the circumstances.
With 6 deaths during wellness checks across the country in the last 3 months and other injuries, critics say we need to put mental health professionals on the front lines.
Very upsetting to see this type of behavior.
And not only that, it keeps happening.
Blanchard says it needs to stop. John Woodward, CTV News, Vancouver.
Fortunately, we don't see what happened in the house, but this is Shanna Blanchard. She's a former firefighter and personal trainer who lives with her fiance and 4 children. This is how they treat first responders. A firefighter. What is wrong with you people? She said she was not suicidal, that she just had a fight with her son and they told her they were arresting her under the Mental Health Act. She stood up fast and the male officer punched her so hard it knocked her out. What the hell for? This is really getting out of hand. It's gotten to the point of dangerous. People are getting injured and killed over wellness checks. This is what's wrong with BC police. If you are not trained properly for wellness check, then don't do them. RCMP had come out with a list of proposed responses to wellness checks that never seemed to be followed. It is critically important for Canadians to feel protected by the police, and the RCMP is dedicated to establishing, maintaining, and building relationships with community and stakeholders. We recognize there are challenges in terms of the data that is available and the desire for greater data availability, including in relation to wellness check occurrences. The RCMP will continue to explore further improvements to overcome the numerous changes, which include varying legislation across jurisdictions, differences in how occurrences are reported, recorded, and retained, as well as the RCMP being relied upon to attend such calls, including mental health related calls. Most occurrences can be resolved through dialogue, which is why a crisis intervention or de-escalating training is mandatory for all RCMP officers. However, there are circumstances when the police intervention may be necessary to protect the individual or others. The RCMP will use only the level of intervention reasonable and necessary in the context of a careful risk assessment that accounts for the likelihood and extent of potential injury and damage to property, to ensure the safety of all citizens and to maintain peace, order, and security. Well, this is a load of crap. People are scared of police and for some good reason. I would usually share information about mental health and who to call, but she was not suffering from a mental health episode. She was crying after an argument with her son. This was in 2020, and I couldn't find anything on what happened to these officers. If you know, please let me know. Let me know what you think of this crap in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. Thank you.